Welcome everyone, I'm Graydon and this is Binbuster, where I buy, watch, and review budget bit movies. Today's movie that I will be reviewing is Safe House, starring Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds. It's right there. White on black and white, red on black and white doesn't really work well, especially taping like this, so here's the video. Here's the picture of it. Let me just, whoa. Let me go, whoa. Whoa. I apologize for that shaky cam there. I apologize. If you've seen this movie, you understand that. Let's just put it this way. There's a whole lot of that in this movie. A bunch of shaky camera. In a movie kind of like this, I shouldn't have expected that. Movies like Cloverfield and Super 8, I expected shaky camera footage. But I'll get into more of that a little bit. Let's go through the premise of the movie. An ex-CIA operative and wanted man, played by Denzel Washington, is brought in for interrogation. He's sent to a safe house, overseen by Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds plays an overseer or a caretaker of a safe house. And in the first scene with what I just did, he's on his phone and the camera's like shaking, like it's actually in his hand, like kind of like shaky cam footage found in Cloverfield, Blair Witch Project, Super 8. I'll get into that a little bit more, like I said. They're soon under attack by gunmen who should have not been able to locate them so easily, but they did. And there's a reason, because we find out there's a mole in the CIA. That's the only reason that you know that right off the bat, that somebody told them where they were. Who? I bet you it's the old guy. Like I said in Minority Report, right there, it's always the old guy. In this case, I'm just gonna spoil it for you guys. It's the head of the CIA. It's Ryan Reynolds' boss. Yeah, the old guy. But the reason he does this is because Denzel Washington has a list that makes him look bad and makes him look guilty of crimes, and he was just trying to flesh that list out and take it for himself. No one does calm, cool, and collected killer better than Denzel. Honestly, if you've seen Training Day, if you've seen Deja Vu, if you've seen The Equalizer, you know what I'm talking about. Ryan Reynolds doesn't do one-liners in here, folks. So if you're looking for zany Ryan Reynolds who does one-liners, this is not the movie for you. He's all right as a pretty good CIA operative who's angry and stressed. A little bit. The guy's just too hilarious by himself just to be angry and stressed all the time. So it's kind of hard to show that in this movie for him. The two make for a good pair. They kind of do. I mean, who would have thought that Denzel, an Academy Award winner, would work well with Van Wilder and Deadpool? Who would have thought? Not me going into this movie. I would not have thought that. But they actually work very well together. And they get very physical in the action sequences. There's car chases, explosions, guns, fights with fists. Everything for everyone. If you want to see that, check it out. If you like those type of action films. The CIA we'll go into some other scenes. CIA briefing room. It's just like the Bourne movies. They couldn't have done anything original. It's like the Bourne movies. And eat up a good chunk of screen time. This movie's called Safe House. They were in the safe house maybe 20 minutes of this film, I would say. 15. It's supposed to be in a safe house. Not called Stroll Through South Africa. If that was the case, we would see Eddie Murphy in this movie. Yeah, you got my Coming to America joke. Yeah. But you see, takes place in Cape Town, South Africa. And it's supposed to take place in a safe house. The movie Panic Room took place in a panic room. Flight Plan took place on an airplane. There wasn't anywhere else. It pretty much took place. Safe house had to be in a safe house. That's it. One title, one premise, it's good to go. They obviously couldn't do that. There's also good about I already said Denzel and Ryan. That's good there. However, there isn't all too out interesting villains. I said it's the CIA. It's Ryan Reynolds' boss. That's it. It's Ryan Reynolds' boss. It's not even fleshed out as who the villain is. They could have fleshed it out and been this big guy. They could have made it the president of the United States. That would have been much better than Ryan Reynolds' boss in this movie. Other than that, this was a typical action movie. There was car chases, fist fights, guns, stuff like that. Brutal fist fights, intense car scenes. The car chase scenes here are amazing. They're awesome. There's also a good amount of bit parts played by some pretty cool actors like Gleeson, Vera Farmiga. I butchered that last name. I'm sorry. She's part of the CIA in this movie. I forgot her role in it. I'm sorry. This movie, like I said, it's your typical action movie. This is in 2012. This is not a 90s action film. It feels like a 90s action film. And there's a big Hollywood ending that's like, oh, look, everyone's happy. No. Pretty much, it was like the Dark Knight Rises. Ryan Reynolds sees his girlfriend in Paris. She's with her friends. He looks at her, smiles, knows she's happy. They meet, they see eye to eye, and he walks away, knowing that she's safe. That's pretty much a Dark Knight, where Alfred sees Bruce sitting there with Selena. It's pretty much the same. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. It's the same. This movie's R-rated with no interest in becoming a series. For once, we get an action movie that doesn't intend to make itself into a series, which is a good thing. But like I stated earlier, hold on, I'm doing it again. Whoa, you guys get to see a little bit into, that type of stuff. You guys get to see a little bit into what I'm working with here. Stuff like that distracts it. When you're in a movie, it kind of distracts it. Like I stated, in Super 8, the kids are making a movie. It's one of those old-fashioned cameras. There's no stabilization whatsoever. It makes sense for it to be shaky footage. Cloverfield, they're running around, monsters chasing them. They're filming the whole thing. Shaky footage. Blair Witch, they're trying to find the Blair Witch. Shaky footage makes sense there. When you're on the phone, looking out a window, the video should stay still, kind of like it is here. It shouldn't be all... It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't. It's a certain rule. Every movie does. Every movie keeps it still there, so you're like, oh yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm. Action scenes, they might pan a little bit more. Let me do it. They might pan a little bit more to show you a little bit more of stuff. As the action progresses, the guy might just go this way and go, look at that. See? Stuff like that happens in movies. Pans, tilts, zoom-ins happen. Just not all the time. And not within the first 10 minutes of the movie. That kind of just turned me off on this whole film. Kind of just, my mind just pretty much shut off during the film. I watched it all with my wife and it just turned me off. Anyways, what did I give this movie? Everything I just said? Really? I'm giving it 2 stars. I'm sorry. It's getting 2 stars. Why? It's a typical action movie with a predictable plot, no real villain, no flushed out villain. At least the Die Hard movies had Hans Gruber. That's a flushed out villain. Harry Potter had Voldemort. Flushed out villain. Dark Knight Rises, yeah, it's based off a comic book. The Joker was a believable villain. Bane was too. But you see, this movie didn't have that. Ryan Reynolds was all right in this film. Denzel, this is like every other Denzel movie. Denzel's going to be there soon, like Nicolas Cage's, where he just starts doing movies and they're all the same. Trust me on that. Nick Cage's recent films are pretty much all the same. It's just Nick Cage being Nick Cage. This movie, if you like action movies, go watch it. If you don't bother. Like I said, I'm giving this 2 stars. Yeah, I didn't really care for it. It's not that great of a movie. Anyways, what's your favorite Denzel Washington movie? Or what's your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie? Post that down below. I would like to hear from you guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more videos. I post them every Wednesday.